Hey there, this is Dr. Eric Joseph Richards coming to you with the 7-minute podcast number 4. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I spoke about last night. Hopefully I'll get this up right away. Last night at the Cherokee County School District Board of Education meeting, which was an interesting meeting, to say the least. I guess they're all interesting. So at this meeting, there was a parade of individuals. It was mostly on the public input. It was mostly a meeting about the books, banning books, the library, the whole deal, right? So just to kind of talk about my view on that. I'm not really a banning book kind of a guy, but I surely am into an age-appropriate kind of control over books. And age-appropriate, as you guys would guess, I would say, if you know anything about my candidacy, my child, my choice, I think there's probably some opportunity there where a parent could actually consent to a child getting to a book at a certain age, or a book before a certain age, or whatever. I believe there's a methodology that can be put into play there that would make a lot of sense. But I was talking to someone last night. I've given my kids freedom on the parental rights side of their devices. Now, you might think that's crazy, that's stupid, you're blind, your kids have pulled the wool over your eyes. I actually don't think so. I think my kids are of like the most upstanding character, and because we were very cautious from day one, an extremely disciplinary, which I know, some people listening to this on the progressive left side would say, you disciplined your kids, you evil parents, you. And those on the conservative side would say, the rod drives the folly from the child, which I'd say, yeah, I think it does. I haven't been like way too aggressive, but at the same time, yeah, we spanked growing up and or raising them, and we got to the point where that wasn't necessary, and they like the construct of rules, and now they don't have rules because I see they follow the construct of their own rules. They make their own decisions, and it's something I've taught them from day one. Look, your commitments need to be greater than your feelings in this moment, and it's up to you to decide what your commitments are. So that's a statement that I use a lot in my office, in my practice, especially as it relates to diet, but I think it relates to relationships and so many other things as well. And again, just to rephrase that for you, my commitments are greater than my feelings in this moment. And a committed individual is a successful individual. And I taught my kids that from day one. Like, look, I'm just going to continually exude this. I want you guys to understand this, that your commitments are going to determine your outcomes. So, my daughter Brooke, who's 17, has 3 businesses that she runs, and she's successful in them. They produce revenue for her. And more important than that, they produce this feeling of self-worth, self-value, and a capability and accomplishment. So, I talked last night, actually, about the mission. And the reason I brought the mission up in the meeting last night, so the CCSD mission statement, basically at the crux of the mission statement, it's enabling students to become these citizens that are contributing, a contributing citizen, a citizen that's assisting in the world. And then it goes on and talks a little bit about communication and assessment. Basically you're assessing kind of the world and basically setting you up for future success, how to deal with the world and the future challenges that will come with it. It's a really well-written mission statement. And my concern is that when you get a CCSD staff, Bluffs Parkway individuals, who would refer to like a Facebook group, for example, CCSD Georgia Informed Parents, which is a pretty strong, aggressive group that's like attacking what some of the policies are, some of the not policies, but some of the actions are inside of CCSD. And so then the CCSD staff says, oh, these guys are CCSD haters. And I thought, well, hold on a second. The mission of the parents is the same as the mission of CCSD, which is to basically serve the outcome of their kids. That's what they want. They're not trying to suppress kids. They're not trying to hurt kids. They're not trying to take away from kids. In other words, other parents that might have desires for their kids, like this group isn't trying to stop your kids. They're just trying to stop whatever is appropriate for you based upon how you want to raise your kids. If it's not appropriate for them based upon how they want to raise their kids, then get it out of there. So it really makes a lot of sense then that any parent group that comes together for the benefit of their child is actually in alignment of the CCSD mission, because the CCSD mission doesn't say that all kids have to be exposed to this or that or the other. It's not a mission of progressing Christianity in the schools, so that shouldn't be there, right? We know that. But at the same time, a Christian club can definitely organize in a school, and they can be reached, and they can reach out in an appropriate fashion. Likewise, an LGBTQ club can exist in the school, but they shouldn't be afforded any more rights than the Jesus Club. That's kind of how this looks from that perspective. So listening to the last night's take on it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this if only people could understand. If I had more than 3 minutes, it would have been great. But with 3 minutes, it's like, yeah, no, this isn't gonna. No one's gonna grasp on how this really relates to the major topic of last night. But what it does do, though, is it makes you really start to question the purpose of CCSD as an institution. Because the purpose as an institution is this grand mission statement. And therefore, the purpose as a staff member, whether you be the director of communications or you're, the admin who is, greeting people when they first walk in, it doesn't really matter what your position is. You serve the mission. Therefore, you serve the parent who's in line with that mission, even if the methodology doesn't line up with what you think is right. Because your personal beliefs have no freaking place here. And so as I look and I see, man, when CCSD staff think that they are indeed CCSD, because they aren't. CCSD is the institution that will survive them, it'll survive me, it'll survive you. So in an entity that has a mission statement, that entity and all that it encompasses, it should be driven and focused to the mission statement and the mission statement above and beyond all else. Else, you should remove the mission statement. And if the mission statement is to serve students in such a way that the staff of CCSD feels is the correct way to build them and enable them to be better, contributing citizens, then so be it. Change it so we know, and then we can fight. But if not, then the staff should be in alignment with the mission, which means parents actually come first, because for the benefit of the child is the parents' primary goal and why they were put on the earth. And until that child, I'm going over 7, guys, is an adult, it's the parent who rules the roost. Not the government, not anyone else. It's the parent. And that's the issue. And I think all of these people, all the board members, everyone I feel like, well, maybe not all, but I feel like they all kind of started in the right place. And I think complacency is the enemy, because complacency causes us to fight people who would then oppose that current methodology, even though it's through opposition, healthy debate that growth results. So the point of my discussion on the mission statement is that the entity, the institution, serves the parent for the benefit of the child. Therefore, the parent is always right when they are considering the outcome of their child, and therefore, all parents can be right, assuming that what they're hoping for doesn't impact another parent's outcome for their child. And what that really means then is that that institution needs to isolate that focus of that mission to the most narrow limits. Because in the most narrow limits, which would be academia, you now are focused on allowing that child to understand how to become a contributing citizen without impacting what parents might want to teach their children that is different and does not fall under that umbrella. And the more the school tries to reach and do this, the more you're going to end up in a massive fight and battle. And no one's going to agree. You're going to get constant battling. Shove those books in that you're not allowing in. Take those books out that are there. And they don't even overlap. Because, the school has taken so much territory that's not theirs. All right. Hope that makes sense. May 24th, or early voting starting May 9th. Dr. Eric Richards, Board of Education, District 5. Thanks.